Okay. Hello everyone. Here in this video we will see the basic concept about the pressure sensors. So let's start our session. So first of all, what is mean by sensors? So I have already discussed about this in a previous video, but now I repeat. So sensors, it is the device which converts or which measure or sense the physical quantity. Physical quantity means pressure, temperature, then flow, level, and that these physical quantity converts it into the electrical form, that is resistance, voltage or current form. So to understand the pressure sensor, we need to understand first of all what is mean by pressure. So pressure is nothing but the force which exerted on the surface per unit area. So it is denoted by the force divided by area and its unit is the Pascal. Now what is mean by pressure sensor? So pressure sensor, it is an instrument consisting of the pressure sensitive element to determine the actual pressure applied to the sensor and some component to convert this information into the output signal. Means simply we can say that pressure sensor, it consists of the pressure sensitive element, means Bourdon tube, then YouTube manometer, bellows. So we will discuss more about this in next video. So this converted into one of the several units, means this gives pressure into different units, that is unit of this pressure is Pascal, bar, then PSI. So this sensor is also called as a pressure transmitter. So why this pressure sensors are called as a transmitter? Because this gives the output in 4 to 20 milliampere signal and 0 to 5 volt signal. Now types. So there are mainly three types of pressure sensors: absolute pressure sensor, then gauge pressure sensor and differential pressure sensor. So first is the absolute pressure sensor. So it is nothing but the pressure which relative to reference chamber or nearly vacuum. So we can also say measure the pressure relative to perfect vacuum, means it can take 0 as a reference point. Then gauge pressure means it is the pressure or it is the sensor are used to measure the pressure relative to currently present atmospheric pressure. And then differential pressure is nothing but it determines the difference between two pressures, or this can be used to measure the pressure drops, fluid level, then flow rate and more. So to understand the difference between absolute pressure, gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure, so for that purpose we have a diagram. So here now in this diagram, so this x-axis indicates the absolute vacuum and y-axis indicates the pressure, and this green line shows this atmospheric pressure. So now absolute pressure is nothing but it is shown as a red color up to this A point. So this is called as absolute pressure. So absolute pressure is nothing but it is the pressure measured from absolute vacuum. So absolute vacuum means it has zero pressure. Zero value of pressure means absolute vacuum. So this absolute pressure is nothing but the pressure measured from the absolute vacuum. Then second one is the gauge pressure. So it is which is above the atmospheric pressure. So we can say this, it is the pressure measured with measuring instrument, or they can start from the zero reading. Why? Because this atmospheric pressure indicates zero at the starting point. So it is above the atmospheric pressure. And then vacuum pressure, which is the below the atmospheric pressure, means it is negative pressure. It is not we cannot say this is a absolute vacuum because it is not measured with respect to absolute vacuum. That's why this is only called as a vacuum pressure. And absolute atmospheric pressure is nothing but the pressure in the surrounding, or we can say pressure exerted by the air on the surrounding in the atmospheric pressure. So from this diagram we can say that sorry, I did one mistake. So instead of that gauge pressure, this is absolute pressure. So absolute pressure is nothing but the addition of gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure. If you want to measure atmospheric pressure, then this gauge pressure is subtracted from this absolute pressure. Now the uses of pressure sensor. So there are many uses and many applications are there in day-to-day life. But first one is the energy conservation. So accurate pressure measurement is very significant for energy conservation. So these pressure sensors are widely used in weather station, then ocean research, water pollution and more. Now touchscreen devices, as we all know that the computer devices and advanced mobile phones with touchscreen display, so they include pressure sensor, means even slight application of pressure through this finger or stylus, they can create the signal, and these signals can be detected by the processor, or they can this sensor figures out where exactly this pressure has been applied on the screen or on this display, and accordingly they gives the output which connected to this processor. Then next one is automotive industry. So in this sector, this pressure sensor form a critical part of engine or ensure its safety. Means for example in motor, so this sensor monitor the coolant pressure and the oil pressure. Then this sensor also responsible for regulating the power when brake is applied or accelerator is used. Then in my biomedical instrumentation, ECG screen, then pulse screen, advanced pulse screen, then ventilators, these sensors, pressure sensors are used, means they help to optimize the functioning of instrument based on their requirement. Then aviation, means in aeroplane these pressure sensors are used, means to maintain the balance between control unit of aeroplane and atmospheric pressure, means this is not just secures the hardware and different parts of the plane, but also it can helps to give the correct information about the outside condition. Then marine industry. So in marine industry they these pressure sensors are required to find the depth in which these ships and submarines are operating. So there are many application of pressure sensor. So thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.